Hey everyone, this is Alex from ninjateacher.com and I'm out here in Vietnam with Carl Le, who has an awesome YouTube channel about living out here in Vietnam. Really cool to get to spend some time with him out here, in the provinces outside Ho Chi Minh City. And it's really nice to get out of the city a little bit and check out some of the beautiful surroundings. And what I wanted to do today was just chat a little bit to Carl and get a few insights from him about his experiences living here in Vietnam as someone from the States who's come out here and has been here for a little while. So let's start off with just getting a bit of a background from you, Carl. Just tell us where you're from, how you got to be here, and a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, first of all, Alex, thank you for having me. I love it when you say my last name, Le, like that. It sounds awesome. But my background is basically I graduated university and I thought, well, it would be a great idea to just visit Vietnam for an extended amount of time. Originally 6 months, and 6 months turned into a year, and a year has turned into 4. Certain opportunities just came up for me, but primarily YouTube has been the reason why I kept staying to this very day. Because after the first year, I thought, well, I'm going to leave. But then it just kind of, Vietnam kind of made me stay in that sense. But I have a background in history. I have really no formal training in video or movie making or editing and all that. So that part was just pretty much self-taught. And I did it as a hobby. And the hobby kind of grew more into something close to a business, but not quite.
Right, yeah, definitely check out Carl's videos, they're awesome. And that's one of the things I really liked about, your stuff is it really showed life in Vietnam and living here and what it's like. And I think you can get a sense of all the food, the culture, traveling. So maybe could you just tell me a little bit about, what your experiences have been like living here as someone who came from abroad and is, like you said, stayed a while. And I know what that's like because I've been here for a while, and 9 months, and it just seems like I'm going to stay longer and longer, especially with the teaching scene being very good out here, with my business, helping people get started teaching. And overall, what is it that you liked about it, and what have your experiences been coming out here as someone that wasn't originally from Vietnam?
Okay. Well, as you can see, after this meal, we eat pretty well in Vietnam, right? So that's an important thing because I've traveled all throughout Asia, and I think Vietnam definitely has the best local food, all right, for affordable prices, and everything is quite convenient as well. Transportation is quite convenient. So coming from California to here, for instance, if I didn't have a car in Southern California, it'd be very difficult to get a ride somewhere. But in Vietnam, you can hop on the back of a motorbike or just ride a taxi, for example. It's affordable enough. So those are the two big things. But I think in terms of the transition period for me, it wasn't that difficult because I've already had exposure to Vietnam a lot. But one thing I want to stress is there's a difference between traveling here on vacation and actually living here. Right? Living here, the day can get quite long, right? Days turn into weeks. So you have to kind of commit yourself to either a hobby or traveling, right? And this is what I really recommend to a lot of my friends. The best way to live in Vietnam is to get out of Vietnam as often as you can to remind yourself that, well, you can always come back and appreciate Vietnam. Every single time I go somewhere and I come back, I always appreciate Vietnam even more. Right? So if you're constantly bombarded with the traffic and the chaos and stuff like that, it will wear you down just like any other major city. But on days like today where we got to experience a mountain and the province and just this rural background, it kind of reminds you that Vietnam is not just about the cities. The landscape is what kind of draws people in and keeps, at least me, it keeps me here. Right? So travel as best as you can and appreciate the convenience and just the affordability of living here. But in terms of cultural aspects, I think it might be a little bit easier for me because I'm Vietnamese American. I do speak the language for the most part, and so communication isn't a big deal. But even if you don't speak Vietnamese, it really isn't that big of a deal because the majority of people do speak English. and you will definitely not starve in a restaurant. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Man, we ate so well right now.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And yeah, I do agree with that too. Here, it's an awesome country to live in and then to travel from. Very easy to travel around Southeast Asia while you're here. And even just little trips like this outside of the city, because, like you said, Ho Chi Minh is like a very vibrant, chaotic at times city. It's growing fast and it's modern in a lot of ways, but it can be a bit overwhelming. So coming out here and doing that kind of stuff is very cool. And like I'm going to Cambodia next week just to renew my visa, but I get to take a vacation, which is pretty great.
Yeah, right. Like, sorry, Vietnam is kind of the gateway, right? I mean, you're going to Cambodia. I just got back from Malaysia. The ticket from Penang to Saigon was like $20 one way, right? So you get these cheap deals. Da Nang to Hong Kong was like $50 or something like that. So it's just
crazy.
these sweet deals, and so use Vietnam as a hub to go to other places around.
Yeah, totally agree with that. So something that we were just briefly talking about before this, and you mentioned it, and I was like, that's such a big reason why I'm out here, is the freedom of being out here. And I think that if you are back home and you are stuck in a job, maybe it even is something that you do enjoy, but you want to try something different. I think that's why I came out here and have spent so much time out in Asia and lived here for the last 2 years, is because I have a really strong sense of freedom being out here, and I love that. So do you want to tell me a little bit more about what you were saying about that and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I really feel like a lot of my friends back home, they work all year long so that they can go on vacation for 2 weeks, right? So even if they have a lot of money, even if they think they have a lot of time, you're quite limited in where you can travel, right? And even within the city, your work tends to dictate certain things, your family life, your bills, your car, and whatnot, right? But in Asia, especially in Vietnam, you can kind of just relax for a day. You can have off days, right? I truly believe that. You can really get away from it completely, right? Because there's a stark contrast. The countryside is so close to the city, and the city is so close to the countryside. Minutes away from Saigon, there are water buffaloes roaming around, grazing on grass. So that aspect of it allows you to get away, and thus you're more free to do as you choose to do, right? You do work hard, right? You have to work hard in order to have that freedom, right? But you have it more often, and you have more extreme forms of that freedom compared to back home, especially if you're single. I think it helps if you're single, guys, and ladies as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing to do, to come out here and live maybe for a year or something when you're younger and single, and you want to just go on a cool adventure, right?
Right, or even if you have like a boyfriend or girlfriend, I think doing it together is the most rewarding thing possible. Right, that's really the only way that you know that you're truly compatible with somebody, right? Travel somewhere with them, do North to South Vietnam and see if you can still stand each other, right? And then get married.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. I've heard that so much.
Yeah,
travel really sets those relationships, the ones that work apart from the others. But okay, cool, man. Well, that's really, that's the kind of stuff that I feel is really amazing about living out here. And you can, if you're teaching English out here, for example, you can make a really good salary to living costs, even something as much as double the salary to your living costs. So there's really great opportunities if you want to do that. But just to kind of close off, let's ask just a fun question. So how about, what is your favorite thing to, let's make it broad so you can go on it, to like eat/do, or I don't know, something exciting that you enjoy about Ho Chi Minh City or about Vietnam in general?
I think one of my favorite things to do is just to hop on my bike in the middle of the night and ride the empty highways and just find a good balut egg or Hot Vit Long place and just sit down, usually on a blue or red little stool next to an old lady, and she'll have like a basket full of little eggs with baby ducks inside, and I just munch away. That's a great source of protein and calcium. And sometimes I'll have just that for dinner. It sounds a little bit barbaric, but I enjoy it, and I'm proud of it. I mean, so just cruising, finding baby ducks, and just kind of quietly enjoying it with a local who isn't really that much different than myself. So that proximity to the real Vietnam in a sense, right? So I'm constantly looking for the real Vietnam, and just like this place where we are today, right? Like this entire restaurant. You might be the first, foreigner at this restaurant. So the real Vietnam does exist, but you just have to find it, and that's the best part about Vietnam.
Huh, that's interesting. And it's funny because right now what I'm really enjoying is the kind of modern aspect of Ho Chi Minh City, because I was up in Hanoi for 7-8 months, and it's very cultural but not as modern, and I'm really liking all the kind of cool cafes and clubs and nightlife. So I think there's both, both is awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So awesome. Thank you, Carl. Thanks for sharing your insights.
Sure.
Check out Carl's channel. It's awesome. Probably way better than mine in terms of actually giving you a sense of what living here is like. So go over and check it out. And thanks for joining. Do you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Thank you so much to Alex and to you guys for watching. I appreciate you having me on. It's been an honor. It was nice to meet you too, to enjoy this festive meal with you in such a wonderful background. But that's just the power of YouTube, bringing people together, right? So I'm glad I met you, Alex. So I'll see you soon. Thank you, and thank you guys for watching.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. See you soon. Make sure to subscribe, like, and see you again in another video.